both these fighters have given it their all, but wait, here comes Owan once more. He's on the attack. He's got Kang on the defensive. Referee's close to stopping it. It's one punch after the other. Is the referee going to stop it? The 10-second clapper is about to sound. Referee's letting them go. Owan close to scoring a stoppage here. And it looks like they stop it. They stop it. Referee Surat doing the right thing.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Doing the right thing.
ここにいるうちの本物のスクールスポーツのために行こうぜベイビーバン手の国は気をつけて、現実になることがありますからね。
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and continue the long-standing tradition of covering Japanese boxing here on True School Sports. True School Sports, the #1 source for Japanese boxing in America from an American. And y'all know the rest, man. Now listen up and listen up real good. Today, we're going to speak about number 5, WBO Featherweight Contender, 14-2 with 9 knockouts, the fighting pride of Okinawa, Japan. Yes, Ryuto Owan. Let's talk about him because, honestly, guys, I did not really know who this guy was before this calendar year started. He got onto my radar this year because he won a fight that he wasn't supposed to win against a fighter I did a video about back in 2024 from South Korea, Jong Kang. And he was like the #1 ranked fighter in all of South Korea. He was the hope and the pride and the face of South Korean boxing. And, that he beat him, and that's how he got on my radar. So let's talk about him because this is a fighter that I do think is going to be involved in a relevant fight in the next calendar year. I would even go as far as to say that this guy is a potential opponent for Rafael Espinoza if Rafael Espinoza picks a voluntary fight. I think this guy's a prime candidate for a voluntary opponent. I think Espinoza in general is going to wind up fighting somebody from Japan because you got Toshiki Shimachi #2 in the WBO, Kenji Fujita ranked #4 in the WBO, and Ryuto Owan ranked #5 in the WBO. So that's 3 fighters in the top 5 from Japan ranked in the WBO. It's possible, very possible, Espinoza fights a Japanese fighter within the next year or so. But let's talk about it because Ryuto Owan, he's had an interesting career. He's suffered some setbacks. Early in his career, he took a loss in his, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. His 6th pro fight, he took a loss to Tetsu Arakai, right? He lost to him when he fought for the Japanese youth bantamweight title. And then he didn't fight for 2 years. He probably got really distraught with boxing. I don't know what the case may be. But when fighters lose their first fight, I know what that can do to a fighter because I have plenty of friends in the fight game that have lost fights. And I know that first loss, it stings the most because now you don't have your own anymore, right? So he didn't fight for 2 years. And then he came back. He reeled off about 5 or 6 wins. And then he suffered a loss to the only other guy I can really say for a fact I know on his resume, which is Toshiki Shimachi, who is also a contender in this division. Shimachi is a good fighter. I don't think Shimachi has anything really special about him, but I think he's just a very disciplined, consistent southpaw. He does the basics very, very well over and over and over again, and that takes him further than his talent, than the talent he has, in my opinion. So no shame in that. You fight a good fighter, you lost. But really, he got on the radar when earlier this year, as I mentioned, he fought Jong Kang in the Philippines, and he was the underdog. He was not expected to win. In fact, Mr. Honda of Tekken Promotions was promising Jong Kang a title shot if he would win that fight. That he was going to go ahead and do that for him, and he was expected to win. And Ryuto Owan just ruined all those plans and got him up out of there in the 9th round. And this was ultimately proved to be too strong for Jong Kang. Kang's a good little boxer, can counterpunch a bit, but didn't have the power or the wherewithal to keep this guy off of him. So let's break him down as a fighter, right? Ryuto Owan, I think he's got a very Japanese style, and that regimented, disciplined, sometimes a little rigid, Japanese fundamental style, straight right hand. I would probably say his best punch is his straight right hand. He's got a very, very effective, accurate straight right hand. But he has that style that's very it's a very north-south style. You're not going to see a lot of lateral movement. You're going to see a lot of north-south, and you're going to see a lot of straight punches. You won't see a ton of hooks. You won't see a ton of uppercuts, but you'll see a lot of jabs and you'll see a lot of straight right hands. That's traditionally what the Japanese style is. It's very, very textbook, and depending upon the athletic ability of the fighter, they can, expand upon that. But nonetheless, yeah, he's right there for a title shot, and I think that, he's a very good counter puncher, right? And I would even say, I would say more so than a straight right hand, and more so than any sort of like punch that he throws. The thing I like the most about Ryuto Owan, from what I've gathered about him, is that from watching him fight, he fights in a very relaxed manner. Like, he doesn't really. Sometimes you watch fighters, especially the fighters from Japan. Think about a guy like think about a fighter like Jin Sasaki, right? I use him as an example because he's a popular topic of discussion on this channel. Jin Sasaki, you can tell he loads up. Like, he doesn't fight in a relaxed manner at all. He's a gunslinger, and that his gunslinging ways got him done up bad by Brian Norman and Andy Hiroka, right? So I think I would say a guy like Ryuto Owan's a bit different. He doesn't really he fights a little bit looser. He's a bit more calm, which is what you want to be in the ring. You don't want to be so tense in the ring, because even if you're not even throwing punches, if you're tense and you're clenching your fists and these kind of things, you're expending nervous energy without having to even throw punches, and that's a lot of people don't understand about boxing. So I like the fact that he fights in a very relaxed manner, and he can counter punch, and the fact that he's got a very effective straight right hand, and that if he gets you hurt, as he showed in the Jiang Sean Kang fight, if he gets you hurt, he will step on the gas and pack you up. So I'm very intrigued. I'm very intrigued, because the way I see it for Ryuto Owan, it's gonna be one of only a couple things, right? So I think either A, Ryuto Owan winds up fighting Rafael Espinoza, which be a very interesting fight. Espinoza, I'd favor him for sure, because Espinoza is gonna have like a ridiculous size advantage. I think Ryuto Owan would have to definitely punch in between the shots and get Espinoza to respect him to win that fight. But yeah, I would make Espinoza a pretty heavy favorite in that fight, just because I feel like Espinoza will land the kind of punches that are going to rearrange his face, and Espinoza got pretty thick bone density, so he don't got to hit you as many times as other fighters, and he'll start closing your eyeballs shut and doing all kinds of crazy shit, and it won't even look like it on TV. It's crazy when you watch him fight. He's an anomaly of a fighter, but I think that could be a good fight for him. I think he'd have a chance. I'm not saying I'd pick him, but I think he'd have a chance only because he does got some pop, and a lot of the guys Espinoza's been fighting don't really have any pop to speak of. So, I give him a chance on that. But yeah, Espinoza should be him. Now, what would be a lot more intriguing to me for Ryuto Owan is if he actually fought one of the other Japanese fighters ranked in the top 5. You got Kenji Fujita, who I've talked about before on this channel, and you got Toshiki Shimachi, who I've also talked about on this channel before. I would like to know. I would like those guys to fight each other, because I would like to know who is the best between the bunch. Now, Mr. Honda controls everything in Japan, but the only guy that, to my knowledge, that's an outright like Tekken promotion / Tekken boxing gym fighter is Kenji Fujita. So maybe I'm holding out hope that maybe Honda would consider matching up Owan or Shimachi, because they're not directly. They're not with the actual Tekken gym. They just, Mr. Honda handles all the international boxing and business affairs for Japan, but those are not Tekken gym fighters, if that makes sense. That being said, I would like to see him fight those guys. I would like to know who's the best, because I have questions about each of them. Shimachi, I think, is insanely basic. I think he's one of the most basic world level fighters from Japan, and I would like to see him, rematch Owan. Right, Owan already lost to Shimachi, but now they're ranked in and around each other. Why not do that fight again and see maybe Mr. Honda could go to the WBO and make that a final eliminator. Maybe you can get Owan to fight Luis Nerio as number 1. I mean, there's all kinds of options, but he's right there with the chance to make some noise on the world level, and he's a good fighter. I wouldn't say I rate him the highest, but he's got some positives to build off of. He is from Okinawa, so he did train alongside Daigo Higa, so he's got a lot of good gym experience with a guy like that, and yeah, so I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that. That's my impression of Ryuto Owan. Yeah, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dang. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this, make sure you guys stay tuned and subscribe. You won't be disappointed.